Hi everybody, this is Harmony with Harmony Stitches and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey, which usually revolves around cross stitch, some knitting, and some crochet. I hope that you had a very Merry Christmas, had some relaxing time. I know some of us are still going to be off work for a little while yet, but then some of us sadly had to go back to work today or even tomorrow. But that's how it goes. We have to continue to pay the bills and get our crafting supplies, right? So today we are going to do, talk about the last few days of 12 days of stitching. And then later on this week, I'm going to do a recap of all of the things that I finished from July 1st through the end of the year. And then maybe a WIP parade as well. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put both those in one video or have two separate releases. We'll see how it goes. So let's get started with the 12 days of stitching. I started this week with Christmas House. And you know what? I forgot to grab that one to show you where I got to. I'll insert a picture here of what Christmas House looks like right now. The next project I started is, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed Christmas Bears. You saw this one already, but I did put a strand in last night. I just finished up the sweater on that one, or the pink part. I finished the pink part. Okay, so that was Christmas Bears. I did add in one strand, like I said, into the pink part of the second bear sweater last night before bed. But before that, I started Merry Christmas by Artecy. I'm stitching this one on, I believe it's 18 count. I think yes, 18 count, because I had to count it to double check to see if I was going to have enough room. Okay, this one is Folk Art Christmas, actually, is what it's called, by Artecy. And I did get a bit of progress. The deer needs a little bit of work on the antlers, and then it's finished. The tree is finished except for the star. And then I was working this way. So the next time I work on this, I will stitch, there's baubles along the bottom. I will continue stitching on those and go from there. But I wanted to work on the some solid stitching, so I left those baubles off this time around. Like I said, this is 18 count Aida. It looks to be off-white, antique white. And as you can see, I don't have very big margins on this one, but I had already cut the piece of fabric. I must have done some bad math when I prepared this, but it's okay. It'll work for my purposes. It'll be fine. Okay, then the next one I worked on was the Nativity. And this one I had said I was going to work on for, what was it? 3 days, Christmas being the third day. Some reason I'm having trouble spitting out the words. I knew I didn't have all of the floss, but I was going to proceed anyways and do as much as I could. And this is the Nativity by Cottage Needleworks. What is it called? Needleworks. Sorry about that. I'm stitching this on 28 count Dove Gray Monaco. And I found I really only had enough floss to be able to put in 1 day's work in it. But I really enjoyed stitching on it, and I'm really excited about the progress that I have so far. So this is the Nativity by Cottage Needleworks. And I have the bottom part done except for the legs and the beak on the birds, because I don't have that color, which is fine. And then I have almost all of Joseph done, and then I need to work on Mary. And then so I went up to the next part of the verse. And there's several parts, and I'll continue working upwards. So all of these projects did make their way into the WIP Wheel. So that'll be exciting to see when those come up. And since I finished, I actually went to bed and I had just where it says a savior, I had that to complete. So I did that on Christmas morning. And then while we were waiting for my daughter to come down, yesterday, I started stitching on Merry Christmas by Hello from Liz Mathews. And I actually got this done. I told myself that I wanted to get this done on Christmas so I can move on to other projects. And I was able to get this done. This is 18 count Aida that I coffee tea dyed. And instead of the DMC that Liz calls for, I used Soot by Classic Colorworks. So with this finish, I finished 8 of my projects from the 13 that I chose for the 12 days of stitching. And I think that's a really great success. You don't always have to stitch the big things or even the medium things. You can stitch the small ones, the ornament size pieces, and really feel some accomplishment, because we want to stitch those anyway. So why not include them in an event like this, so that way you can have some motivation and, you know, some feel good for getting something finished. So those are all of my 12 days of stitching that I did this week. I did get a purchase. We ran to the store the other day and I got the punch needle and primitive stitcher. And I got this one because it has the final installment in the Buffalo Plaid series by Stitching with the Housewives. And this is winter. So I'm going to start stitching on this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when I should stitch on it. I would really like to get some more progress in the 12 days of stitching pieces that I have left before the end of the year. But because I have a lot of WIPs, I updated my WIP wheel and I'm like, holy smokes, I have a lot of WIPs. But I also want to start some of these projects too. I have the list is even longer for the projects that I have ready to go. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I did grab some floss. I did start pulling out the floss. I did get a punch for Christmas, so I started punching my floss drops or thread drops or whatever you want to call them. So I did start organizing, and then we went to the store again. And I did get, at the store, I got 2 more packs of these bags from Joann's, and then I grabbed DMC 927 for this winter project. So I don't really know what I have going on. I do know that the one project, the crochet project for my daughter, remember the doll has a little coat. I did start working on that, and I told her I would try to get it done by the end of the year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet on it for a little while, and then I'm going to cross stitch and then crochet on it for a little while. And so what I did today is I put the eyes on, because you have to put the eyes on before you stuff it. And then I stuffed it, and then I put on one leg. And it's a really interesting construction on how to put those legs on, so that way you're not having to sew them on. So that was really exciting. So I had one leg done. I got that. I said, okay, I'm going to cross stitch for a little while, but then we ended up going to town. So I will go down and I will continue organizing my floss, because some of these projects are pretty messy from not having any thread drops. And then what I will do is I may just pull out one of these projects and stitch on it for a little while before I crochet some more. But I'm going to try to do like the other leg before I, cross stitch and then crochet the other leg. And then cross stitch and do an arm. Cross stitch, do an arm. That way, I've noticed that crochet, especially amigurumi, even though it's a little bit, quite a bit larger than, the small projects, it can hurt my hand. So I don't want to do a lot at one time, and there's not a ton of work left. I have 2 arms, a leg, 2 ears, and then some eyelids and some lips. So there's really not a ton left. We'll see how far I get. And then once I get that project done, I will show that to you as a complete project as well, because it really doesn't look like much when, even though I got the eyes on, it looks kind of funky. And I'm hoping that I put them in the right place, because I don't know if you've ever used safety eyes, but kind of once you put them on, you can't get them off. That's kind of the whole point with the safety eyes. So that way they're not choking hazards for children. So, I think that's all that I have to share with you today. I hope that you had a Merry Christmas. And if not, if it was a struggle for you, I've been there. I know what it's like. But I hope that you can have some kind of peace and relaxation the rest of this, maybe today, or if you have more days off, I hope that you get some of that. So happy crafting. I am excited that you get some time to do that too. And we'll see you next time. Bye.